Hi, this is Ron with Art Gallery Showcase, and we have the privilege of Sandra Morrison here in the studio with us today at the beautiful Laguna Beach. How you doing today?
I'm just doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute privilege to have you here in our studio because we're venturing into plein air, and I know that you know a lot about this, so talk to me about plein air because I hear it's your passion.
It is my passion. I love to go outside and paint. I love to go out in nature. I love the wilder spots. There's a lot of artists when I'm in a group that will go out and find a place, and I'm still wandering around trying to find that one place that sings to my soul. And when I do, I sit down and I just let my feelings out on my paper.
You sound like you're a selective person to me, so you're waiting for nature to say, hey, Sandra, paint me. That's what you're trying to do, right?
I'm trying to find that one thing, like that sunlight that just hits that tree just right, or that combination of trees and the rolling hills, you know, that just looks like it all fits together, and something like that.
So if we're talking technical, we'd be saying you're a real composition person.
Well, what I do is, like, when I'm out, I'm thinking composition in my mind, and I'm composing it, and I'm mainly a watercolorist, and I will take my paper and I'll do a sketch, put down the big shapes, and then I take an eraser and I erase almost every single line because I already have it painted in my mind. I already have it mapped, and then I start in. I start in with my big brush, and I'm basically an intuitive painter.
I can't wait to see some of your art. Let's take a look at some of your art right now.
Okay, sounds good.
This first piece, what is this one? And where were you at? Looks like
This was a very early morning in a beach in Corona del Mar. I call it Little Corona. I know it has other names. And it was very foggy. And you have to go down a hill to get there and cart all your stuff. But I love that beach so much that I do that. And I basically did the thing that I love to do. I call it splashing my paint. I take colors and I put it on there. I put an underpainting, and then I take my spray bottle and I spray it, and it starts to drip and flow, and then I put more color in, and I move the paint around, and it builds up these layers. And that's how that one was created.
oh, cool. Let's take a look at the next one. Ooh, I like this.
This is Coastal Gardens. I'm a big fan of helping organizations do fundraisers.
Where's this at? Where's Coastal Gardens at?
This is it's the Hortense Mill Garden. And they were having an open house, and they asked members of SoCal Papa, which is an organization I'm a part of. It's a Plein Air Painters Association. It's Southern California Plein Air Painters Association, which I've been a member for 6-7 years, and treasurer for 3. That was an experience.
I bet it was.
And so that day I came, and I had my favorite hat, which I was thinking of retiring, but I decided to wear it that day. And it was this big floppy hat. And so I'm sitting there, and I have a picture of me, and this hat comes like down over my ears, and my easel wasn't working. But you know what? It didn't matter. I just sat and I painted, and I felt it's fairly close to the ocean. And I could feel those coastal breezes, and but it was a hot day, so you can see that influenced my color.
Oh, I know, because they're more vivid and they're a little sharper, and I really like this piece. But then I love oranges and reds.
Reds,
so
and
when you start using that, you got me. And this was a beautiful, beautiful piece. The next one, let's take a look at that.
Okay, this is called Just Before Day's End. And we did one of my painting buddies, now is my painting buddy, I had a health challenge a couple years ago, and that put a dead stop to a lot of my things. But then I found a program called Let's Go Outside with Irvine Ranch Conservancy, and Monica Edwards, who is another great plein air painter, was running it. And this was one of the sessions, and I signed up time after time after time again to go out to all the different places on the land, because most of it is pristine land. There's hardly anybody that's ever touched it, and it is just gorgeous. And this was kind of at the end of the day, and I just loved the way that the light just filtered onto this tree, and that's what drove me to paint this.
I could see by the accent of that tree on the right side that was definitely your focal point, and that's where a lot of the feelings came from.
Yeah, and I used about 3 years ago, I went on to Yosemite with some of my watercolor buddies, and I went on a workshop with an artist called Chris Van Winkle, and he introduced me to painting with a 2-inch brush. A 2-inch brush, and that painting was done mainly with that. And when I started painting with that, it freed me up. It made me start doing my intuitive painting, and all the background that I had built up before, and the big brush has my painting just kind of changed, and I loved it even more. So
what else did you bring us today?
what do we have here? What's next? Okay, this is called Where Are the Horses? During all this that's been going on, another one of my friends asked me to come out to a stable where she has a horse. And it was a small group. And I was looking around trying to figure out, and I kept coming back to this tree. But you know, in plein air painting, a lot of times you have an umbrella. Well, I didn't bring my umbrella that day. But I said, you know what, I got to paint this tree. It's just the flowingness of it, the beauty of it. So I sat down and painted this tree, but it was a stables. But I've been actually working on kind of a body of work with trees, and the one that was before this is part of that. And so I did this tree that day, even though there were plenty of beautiful horses to paint and draw. I picked the tree.
Hey,
so
you definitely love your nature. This next piece, though, is not Laguna Beach, and you're kind of throwing me for a curveball here on this next piece. So you're going to have to explain this.
okay, this is called Waiting for Lovers. Throughout my life, after I got out of college, I didn't know what to do. So, because they don't teach you how to be an artist. So I became an accountant. I fell into it, though. First I was kind of like a customer service person, and then it just turned into an accounting, and I've been doing that for over 30 years to make a living. But I always kept my hand in and did drawing. I always did life drawing. I would go to sessions where they'd have a model and to share, and I'd put in my $10, $15, whatever, and I'd draw and paint. And so, but after that, I decided one day that I wanted to show my art, because every time I'd bring it in to show it to anybody, they go, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, well, you know, I have to make a living.
Gotta eat.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
So I had also, after college, I took community classes. That was another way to keep my hand in, and I met this artist named Timothy Clark. And he gave me a very solid foundation in watercolor painting and composition and painting outside. And I I took 2 workshops with him. One was to Hawaii and one was to England and Italy. And so the last town that we visited, or city I should say, was Venice. And during all this at the beginning of the year, I couldn't go outside to paint. So I dragged out of all my drawers all the paintings that I had ever started, and I did a lot. I would like paint outside and then I'd come home and I'd stuff it in my drawers. I have these flat files that I just filled up. And I pulled out all these paintings and I saw this, and I painted this on a very, another time. It was like 6:30 in the morning. He dragged us all to St. Mark's Square. And across the way is Santa Maria della Salute. And that in the background is Santa Maria della Salute. And I had done that part, the feeling of that morning, but I hadn't painted the gondolas. So I finished this painting, and it was one of 30 paintings that I finished during that time. But this one has a special meaning and place in my heart because of all the time that I spent with painting with Tim Clark, and I love to travel. I've traveled all over the world, and I dream of going places and traveling again. So
That's great. I can't believe that we got you in here today, and I can't believe that we got to experience these beautiful pieces of art. And if you people really want to see more of Sandra's great artwork, go to Art Gallery Showcase and check out her gallery. Click on each picture, and what's great about it, the story's there. And it was just a privilege to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today here in Laguna Beach.
oh, thank you for inviting me. It was a true pleasure. Thank you so much.